No, Parrish, there's no point in taking this serious. Oh, hello!
Welcome, my God! Friends. They have clothes on.
Welcome, friends, to another edition of the P.O.S Show here on Love Wrestling. Of course, our monthly, or at least close enough to monthly show previewing the latest and greatest in WWE pay-per-view programming. Parrish, of course, your Love Wrestling Elite Champion. Heading into the show, he's got the opportunity to become the longest reigning Love Wrestling Elite Champion of all time. And I, of course, challenging to become the first three-time Love Wrestling Elite Champion. Dar, good to see you, friend. Thank you for hopping in the chat. And Astrid, thank you for not only hopping in the chat, but resubscribing over on Twitch. Of course, wherever you may be, whether it's Twitch, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Facebook Live, it is always appreciated. But if you want to support a little bit extra, you want to go a little bit over and above, please feel free to throw us a subscription on Twitch. Not only will you get great content, custom emotes, and a whole lot above and beyond that, but October 15th, we've got Change the Game emanating out of Edmonton, Alberta, the South Edmonton Common Rec Room, to be specific. And that's going to be a subscribers-only stream here on Love Wrestling, so you want to make sure you check that out, as Astrid will be able to do by subscribing. What's the title history, Darwell? We've had a couple of guest shows. We've had a couple of guest appearances on the POS show before, but you're looking at the only two champions of the Love Wrestling Elite.
It's not our fault that the outsiders can't make.
That's true. They picked us to host this for a reason.
I mean, there's reasons why Nash and Hall weren't the champ. Hulk Hogan was, brother. I mean,
that's what we're going to go with.
We're the Hulk Hogan of this world.
Pluggo, we got to give a good shout out to you as well. My friend Pluggo and I engaged in a heated battle on the fantasy football side of things, but we ain't here to chat fantasy football, though you and I were certainly
I made no right now in all my leagues.
I was just going to say we were doing more than enough of that before the show started, but we're here to chat about Extreme Rules. And Parrish, I'll maybe let you kick this one off because I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but for me personally, there are a lot of matches certainly to be excited about. Not a lot of builds, in my opinion, that you can be really excited about. I'm psyched for the event, but are you in the same opinion as I am that maybe there could have been a little bit more done in the 5 weeks between WrestleMania Backlash and, of course, tonight's event that could have given it a little bit more pizzazz, oomph, whatever word you want to put on it?
Sorry, my eyes fucking. 7 stitches. Yeah, thanks, Dean Richter. Yep, bomb. But no, these are the pay-per-views that always somehow stand out the most because you always kind of subjectively thinking they're not going to really do much here, and then somehow they just turn up the surprise, mother effers, on ya, and it's like, whoa. And there's a lot they can do. And right now WWE is. I mean, they pulled the plug on Big E for the WWE Championship.
Heck yeah, they did.
I don't think that they're done. I think they know that they have to give the fans more of what they want. We have a pay-per-view called Extreme Rules. They were just in Philadelphia. How has Paul Heyman not talked more about playing a gigantic role, knowing that he's right in the middle of a love triangle of Universal Championship with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns?
Of course.
Man, I think if he's not who we're talking about at the end of the pay-per-view, I think they actually really kick fans in the dick, to be honest.
Fair point, man. Before we continue, of course, Dustin, that is Dustin with a Y and a couple of underscores after the name. Big thanks to you as well for throwing us a follow on Twitch. We would love to continue to encourage everybody to tune in. And if you're feeling like giving a little extra, throw the follow, throw the subscription.
It's still September.
It is still September. So if you want to hop in, you're saving 20% on your subscriptions. But I agree. I really like what they did with Heyman at the end of SmackDown this week where he said, Roman, you need to get extreme. And I see Dar hopping in as well here with welcome to Regular Rules. I think that you're obviously hilarious, but you're hitting the nail on the head with this one. Even when it comes to the Demon and Roman Reigns, which is going to be our main event match.
Who would have thought that regular wrestling would have been like the one thing we're actually crapping on the pay-per-view about? It's like, no. Like, of all these times, like, oh, why did they do this to this match? We could have just had something simple.
Yeah.
Now it's like we're giving simple, and it's like, no, this isn't the time.
The thing, though, is it's all about those expectations. And what I'll give the other side of it for, though, is like whenever Hell in a Cell came around, previously in October every year, this year in August or whatever it was, I can't remember offhand. The biggest complaints that I always have with events like this, and the biggest complaint that I've got with the Extreme Rules card outside of the build itself, if you're going to give it that sort of title, that sort of stipulation, that sort of panache to it, that this is going to be an extreme event, and the only real extremity we've got was the end of last week's SmackDown on the Go Home show in the last segment of the show, you're setting yourselves up for disappointment, because as a fan of like pretty well any kind of pro wrestling out there, deathmatch, hardcore wrestling, straight up wrestling, whatever it may be, when you're telling me, hey Spencer, you're going to get an event and there's going to be extremity to it, that's what I'm looking forward to. And I do feel like you said, Parrish, I don't want to take away from it, because I think you're bang on that this is really setting up to blow expectations out of the water. But I do think that there's that little bit more of a need to be building up a little bit. Before we start breaking down the card, we're going to start with our pre-show match of Liv Morgan and Carmella. I think here's a great question for you and I to dig into, and maybe a future Sunday brunch topic here on Love Wrestling. What role will Heyman be in at the Saudi show in 2021? Personally,
Hopefully he books it.
that, my friend, is an excellent shout. Personally, for me, I hope he stays on the side of Roman Reigns, if only to drag this out a little bit longer. I really like what they're doing here. I think they've done a great job of playing Paul Heyman on both sides conceivably. So I really would like to see them take it a little bit longer. I'd like to see him on Reigns' side just for the possibility of continuing the story. And then Cody will hop to your comment.
I wonder if Survivor Series is really the end game of when Heyman truly shows what side he's on. Because it's after the draft, and I have a feeling that we're going to see Roman on one show, Brock on the other.
That's a fair call, too.
I don't either. It's easy to say WWE might play it safe and be like, oh, I have a guy on each show, I don't have to choose. However, it would also be very curious to see Paul Heyman, who has a tendency of turning on his clients at times. You go all the way back to when he turned on Brock Lesnar against the Big Show.
I stand by
at
that.
Survivor Series,
by the way.
At Survivor Series, by the way, he turns on CM Punk. And it's just one of those things where I actually think the end game is him turning on Roman Reigns, because I don't think Roman Reigns now no longer needs Paul Heyman, but I think Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, I mean, it's like peanut butter jelly. It's like Chris Parrish in the Love Wrestling Elite Championship. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Damn it. I'm upset. You segued that well. That's half the reason I think I'm so upset. However, we're going to move on. Cody, I like your comment you made in here. And excuse me as I try and read. The biggest complaint I have on the card isn't that it's called Extreme Rules. It's that they've been promoting it on all the commercials as the one night a year that WWE goes extreme, the same way that Survivor Series is the one night of year that they all cross over. I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. And I
mean, they still can.
Still can. Like I said,
it's not been the best build to an Extreme Rules because we're so generally used to them telling you what we're going to get. Now, if it's a surprise, I mean, let's wait and see.
Yep, I agree.
Benefit of doubt.
Hopping in as well before we start here on the predictions. And I have to expel a little gas from my mouth, excuse me. Roman doesn't need Heyman for sure. You know what? By that same token, Astrid, I don't think Brock needs Heyman as much as people think.
Like, here's the thing. There's no talent really needs anyone.
Brock Lesnar,
but they could always use the assist.
Is more than adequate of a promo, I think, at this point. And I do.
I don't give an F about your kids just toppled anything he ever has said in the past. To where Brock Lesnar, okay, on the mic, it's just great. It's
the
just
Money
funny.
in the Bank, the whole Money in the Bank when Seth Rollins won. I got a year, and he like laughs and walks out of the ring. I love it all. You guys know
and the
me,
mega
though.
scene choice that he had.
Nicely played. I love me some Brock Lesnar. We don't need to dig into that too damn much. What we do need to start digging into is this evening's match card, because of course the main card starting at 5 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m.
I had a funny joke.
Yeah, I know. I tried to gloss over it, but your friggin' grin gave me a little bit of.
Want to know what Brock Lesnar's favorite rap group is? Rough Riders.
Liv Morgan versus Carmella. and I mean this in the nicest way, but I don't think this is a match you and I need to sit and wax poetic about too much. I think the biggest thing for me on this end of things is that it is yet another instance where a match that was it built the best? No. Is it a match that I think that a wide variety of pro wrestling fans are excited to see simply because the two women involved are two women who damn well deserve an opportunity?
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's why everybody's so disappointed that this is now our pre-show match for the evening. I'm excited as heck for it regardless, but it is disappointing that two individuals that, I can't say it any better. They're people that people want to see on a main card.
Yeah.
And them being on the pre-show is
Pre-show is still better than no-show.
I agree there, and I'm trying not to make it sound like too much of a dig, for lack of a better way to put it. But I would have loved to have seen this on the main card. I think for me, unless they plan on going further with this, I think it's a pretty evident Liv Morgan win. I still think that despite the fact that she isn't on TV a lot, WWE recognizes that she's somebody that people love, and she'll pull out the win here.
I think the mistake still wasn't doing a long build with Liv Morgan as your Money in the Bank winner.
Yeah.
Just because they don't do long builds with stuff like that. However, this is an interesting time to start building Liv Morgan because it's enough time for a Royal Rumble to not necessarily her
That's what I was going to say, man.
but she could have a very emphatic showing to where people are like, damn, she's in a solid match for Mania now because of this.
Yeah.
She's in a really good position. Carmella, we know what we get. We get nothing but consistency with Carmella.
She's a damn star, man.
And the X factor here is Zelina Vega, who finally got a win out of this feud. She got a win on SmackDown, people. We can calm down. She's on a winning streak now.
Sorry. No, I appreciate your comment. I am a huge pop for Dar in the comments here. If Liv and Chav Gable become a team, can they become willing to live? Well played. I got nothing else to say other than well damn played on that one. Cody with a great point as well. Liv has never been on a main show pay-per-view match in her WWE career to this point. And Cody, you might need to fact check me on
Royal
this
Rumble.
one. The Rumble, and then the other one I was going to bring, I believe the Riot Squad have been once or twice.
What
but-
about the WrestleMania battle? No, that was pre-show.
Yeah, so I'm happy to be fact-checked. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the case for Liv as a singles and a tag team wrestler. I just think I remember her being as part of a Riot Squad match.
I think the takeaway is she hasn't
had
on there
enough.
enough.
There
Yeah,
we go.
like it's been what normal people say hot minutes, what Tag Struggle 3 say a horny hour. But it's been a while, as Stain would say. But need to like Liv Morgan is a star.
3 references in one sentence, Parachute. Goddamn monster.
Yeah, man, it's all about
The base.
a freaking tripod. Yeah.
We're not Vern Troyering this one. I think we still need a prediction out of you on this
No,
one.
I
Are you calling
Liv
Liv as
Morgan.
well?
And Liv Morgan as well. I have a feeling there's part of me that's curious about what Toni Storm's going to do in this because she's been teased, hasn't she? And we have Zelina Vega and Carmella. Liv Morgan needs somebody in her corner. I have a feeling, maybe not because it's a pre-show, but let's watch out for Toni Storm too because I kind of would dig a pairing between Toni and Liv, but
man, not that it's the same. You know what? Actually, as I say that, I think of a better comparison is like, do you remember the SmackDown women's division immediately after the 2016 draft?
yeah.
When you had Nikki Bella and you had Becky Lynch, you have Carmella when she was just kickstarting her career. I see a lot of parallels with the women's division right now on SmackDown. The only difference that I see is that where the SmackDown women's division then was so evidently a focus and a main focus, I don't think you're getting much outside of Becky and Bianca right now, which given those two women, yeah, they're talented as hell, but could afford more is what I'm trying to
I think
say.
perceptionally wise now, we have our stars here, and there's a gap between who the next rising star is.
Yeah,
And
good show.
I think this is a very great opportunity for these girls. Yes, it's a pre-show, but it's an opportunity nonetheless to really showcase what they have and where they can go. And I think they can do it together. I think this is a great shot. Like, I think in like 3 months, if they have a great match tonight, we're talking more about these just two talents with Zelina Vega, because how can you forget her? WWE. But
you got there before I did.
yeah, I know. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is what you want. You want that healthy internal competition because
it goes back to that whole I want ruthless aggression, but it's really WWE. It's gut check time now for you guys. It really is, and I think the women are actually really hungry to prove it.
Well, and quick shout to him too, and we'll move on after this because this is one match out of 6 that we've got on the card, and we got 40 minutes left. But full credit as well while we've got the opportunity. And yes, I know I put the guy over often, but because he damn well deserves it. You cannot say over the last little bit that there have been very many, if any, bad women's segments, especially on the SmackDown side. I think a lot of credit has to go to TJ Wilson on that side of things, just given that every single woman coming out of WWE in the last 3, 4, 5 years has gone out of their way to credit him with being instrumental to their success. And the fact that, there should be more opportunities time-wise, but anytime the women of WWE get out there, they fucking kill it. And I don't think anybody can disagree with that on a 9.9 out of 10 times basis. And Cody hopping in here just real quick, and I'll let you close out on Liv Morgan. According to Cage Match, Liv has never won a pay-per-view match and never had a one-on-one pay-per-view match at all. There we go. That makes some sense. I knew I had my Riot Squad ready. But Parrish, I'll defer to you, and then we'll move on to our next match. I'll even pull the banner up for you so you can transition over.
Yeah, that would help.
Let's do that.
My eyesight is 20. What is that I'm looking at?
20 what?
Yeah.
20?
20 what? No. Sorry. I'm trying to okay, back to the point. But when you have females and people like Natalia and Bailey on the same brand too, those are extremely colorful women who are very great leaders as well. Tamina as well, Becky Lynch as well too, and then just a plethora of information and people to sponge off of. These women have an absolutely amazing ability to just go backstage and talk to these girls and just be a sponge on the wall. Man, I give my left eyebrow for that.
It's funny because you hurt your left eyebrow. Parrish, I will let you continue on. You see the match along the bottom there. We got the SmackDown
This is my
Tag Team
dark horse
title
match of the night. This really is my. I think this could be the match of the night, and this is simply because I not only appreciate both tag teams, I also love tag wrestling, and I think when it comes to the Street Profits and Usos, we're going to see a very good paced match. No, we're going to be like, hell yeah, this is a match I don't even want. A gimmick or a stipulation on. I want to see these guys put on a war, just like I saw the New Day and the Usos put on a war, just like you saw all the greats, Heart Foundation, the Rockers, Demolition. I think these are two of the best talented tag teams in professional wrestling today. I think the Usos are the best tag team in professional wrestling today.
It's hard to argue, man.
That despite their DUIs, but
whoa, we'll leave that one alone.
But with that being said, I think that shows to the talent of, despite what happens elsewhere, they're very essential. And them and the Street Profits, man, Street Profits, watch out, because I think they're one heel turn away from being one of the most decorated, soon-to-be decorated tag teams of the era.
I hope so. You know what, though? And I say this in the most positive of ways. It's a win across the board for everyone. I'm personally of the belief that that we might be nearing the end of the Street Profits, just given how good Montez Ford looked in that match against Roman Reigns.
And the Street Profits, Montez Ford will be the Shawn Michaels. Angelo Dawkins will be Marty Jannetty. Angelo Dawkins is too good to be left aside.
That's completely fair too. I don't want to take that.
I think you New Day the Street Profits. I don't think you split them up.
All right,
but you allow them to go their own ways while being supportive.
That's fair too.
I think,
and I say that with all the love.
I
completely agree with you there, friend. But I don't want to see it happen. Don't get me wrong, because I love the Street Profits as much as any other person, probably more than most other people. But man, I freaking love me some Montez Ford. I think that guy, at some point, whether it's 6 months from now or 6 years from now, you at least have to give that guy a shot as a solo star.
He needs to get a Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yeah, you watched him on Friday night against Roman Reigns, and I know it's not the best comparison given that he's been released and everything that happened with it, But I got some real Buddy Murphy vibes out of that match where, like,
Well,
you
like,
watched that and you thought to yourself, boy, this could and should take someone
let's
someone
hope
to another
that
level.
doesn't pigeonhole him though, like it did with Buddy Matthews, because there was
That's
that
a fair
stigma
point.
that sometimes when you have a great match, it pigeonholes you in a weird, effed up way that makes zero sense to regular, logical people like us and the viewers there. But at the end of the day, let's just hope that at the end of the day, like, we just want Montez Ford to succeed, whether it's with the Dawkins or without. Like, but I just think it's almost. I don't want to say it. Actually, I will. I think it might be for a suicide for Angelo Dawkins if he split up from Montez Ford.
Yeah, you look and again, meant in the nicest way possible, but you look at Levi Cooper, formerly known as Tucker, right? And that guy, by all accounts, a great guy, a hard worker. I had so much time for heavy machinery, but it was very clear when that team broke up who the proverbial machine was behind. Cody agreeing with you as well there. New Day and DX, the Profits, let them work solo, but keep them backstage and merch segments for some comedy. I completely agree with you. Like I said, I don't say this as I want this to happen. I'm nervous for the fact that they may break him off this early because I want Montez to get that shot solo someday. Is it today? No. And
Just like
I'm just going to
Kofi
give...
and Big E got it still being in their group. Right?
I completely agree. I'll give my quick thought on it because I think you and I might be aligned. I think you've got the Usos moving forward as your WWE or your SmackDown, tag team champions following this evening's match. You got any different?
No, like, I do have the Usos winning because I do think the money is to have Usos and Roman as champions facing off against the New Day as champions in a winner-take-all 6-man at Survivor Series. Vince, open your cataracts and
Who are the
see.
Raw tag team champions right now?
Okay, bro.
There we go.
Dude, you took them in the draft.
I did take them
yesterday,
in the
Wrestle Draft.
I'm late.
Were you high or something? Just kidding. But with that,
We do all our things in bars. You know my vice.
right? My guest bedroom is a legal bar.
You know my vice.
but at-
D-Star, sorry to interrupt you there.
It's all
Barry.
good.
D-Star, thank you for hopping in. Hopefully Extreme Rules doesn't put me to sleep. I hope the same for you, but like we've been saying throughout the show, the build certainly has left something to be desired. I think there was a lot more opportunity for storytelling in the last 5 weeks. I think that every match on the card tonight at least been looking solid. I'm excited for every match on the card in some way, shape, or form. And at the very least, that's got me excited for tonight.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I guess, too, like, we don't need the Usos or Roman Reigns to leave the brand to get the stuff that's Survivor Series.
Sorry, Dar popped me again. Let Montez Ford win Money in the Bank so he can make profit.
What happens if you won the 24/7
Dude,
title
I
on the
love our
street?
community. Thank you guys very much, Dar, and everybody, whether it's Cody, whether it's Astrid, whether it's D-Star, and everybody else hopping in. Thank you guys for hopping in. It is thoroughly appreciated. You guys make our day as much as I hope we make your day, or at least an hour or so of it as we preview this evening's pay-per-view. A question for you. Who has a bigger future, Bianca or Britt? All right, I'll make this our minute or less segment because I really like this question. And it might even be a good one for Sunday brunch next week because I don't want to take two-way. But I got to go Britt, but you are winning either way. That's the best way I can put it. Bianca Belair, like, she's going to be, she's going to be a cover star. She's going to be on the front of magazines. She's going to get all of those, like, star-making metrics. I've just got a personal preference for Britt Baker, and I'll always go there.
I mean, you're really pulling teeth with this topic, but
you dick, well played.
yeah, I know. It's so hard, but like, I have to go with Britt Baker solely because I do like the platform she has a little bit better to be who
Good
she
shot.
wants to be. Not to mention, I'm very curious to see how she is now as a performer, knowing that Adam Cole is always there, because anybody who's in a relationship knows that when you're always together, you don't necessarily always thrive. Sometimes you do, which is interesting. But it's a very interesting thing. We've never really seen them two together a lot.
Yeah.
So if Britt Baker doesn't always have to do stuff with Adam Cole because of the relationship, that benefits her.
Whereas we're seeing that with Bianca, she doesn't always have to do stuff with Street Profits, and it's benefited her. But I do like the creative aspect AEW is bringing her right now, opposed to the you're going to lose to Becky Lynch in 20 seconds. Not that I. Here's the thing, I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it.
Fair point, man. Do you want to move on from there and we can touch on the Becky Bianca match?
Sure.
You kick her off.
Yeah, this match really think it's pigeonholed, to be honest. I think you've put yourself in a position to where you know this isn't the last time these two are going to wrestle. And I know for a fact you don't want the title to be swapped and be transitional.
I don't know if they'll wrestle again. I think you could blow this off.
Saudi Arabia, man.
Yeah. But the thing is so I guess I'll let you finish off here because it at least sounds like off the bat. Like, are you going Becky?
I'm going Becky because I do think Becky Charlotte at Survivor Series unfortunately might be a thing.
That'll be massive too. That'll be nuts. Let's
and
get real.
I only say unfortunately because we've seen it, and these are matchups where I like where they give you fresh. Whether it was Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan, whether it was AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar, like you were getting fresh and it was nice, it was interesting. Yeah, I got Becky Lynch going by pin, but she cheats, she wins. I don't know. I just don't think it helps Bianca in any way. And that's where I think if you didn't like how she lost the title, you may not like the result because for whatever reason, all of a sudden now people are like, she lost. This is bad. I'm not happy. Grr. I need Frosted Flakes. No great. But with that being said, I think it's a pigeonhole position for both competitors.
I get where you're coming from. Personally, we are less than a week away from something that, in a lot of eyes, and rightfully so in a lot of ways, completely resets the board, and that's the WWE draft. I've got Bianca Belair moving over to Raw as part of it. I think she can lose this match and then ostensibly move over to Raw and be one of the first to step up to Charlotte Flair and or make a major mark in the Queen of the Ring tournament. I think there are a lot of different directions for Bianca to go that you're losing to someone that already, like 26 seconds versus wrestling a competitive match is two different things. That's why everyone was so frustrated
Can I
with.
throw in a comparison question for you?
Yes.
So we all got really unhappy with the squash match or WrestleMania between Becky Lynch and
SummerSlam?
SummerSlam with Bianca Belair. Thank you. But we also got this frustrated with Daniel Bryan losing the World Heavyweight title in a squash match to Sheamus, and they both ended up being better because of it all in the long term. I know it's a stretch, but in a weird, messed up way, do you not think that this could be a similar trend?
I think so, but the difference is that Daniel Bryan-Sheamus match happened at WrestleMania 28, if I remember correctly. And then Daniel Bryan 2 years later is when the WrestleMania 30 triumph happens. So I agree. I think there's a lot of legwork here to do still.
There's real comparisons, I think.
I don't disagree, but I also think that, like, if we're expecting that 2-year process to happen in 2 months and
not necessarily 2 years, but just the fact that this was done for a specific reason, and maybe WWE, in a weird way, has a way to go through the curviest Andy Moog-shaped handles of hockey sticks way to what we actually want.
That's why I think it'd be very, very cool if Bianca made a statement. Okay, she loses to Becky tonight. That is what it is. She ostensibly could not even appear on another episode of SmackDown after. The next time we see Bianca could be on Monday Night Raw on October 4th, where she comes out and directly steps to Charlotte or steps to Rhea or steps to someone like that, where it's, oh shit, Bianca's here. And you almost forget about the last week.
You swore before I did.
I'm calling Becky.
All right. Yeah.
You as well?
Yeah, Becky for sure.
Alrighty, let's get to a couple of quick comments in here. We'll march on to our next match. But of course, feel encouraged to throw comments, questions, concerns, opinions, anything in there. We've got about half an hour, maybe a little less, depending.
Right, Rob, you thought they won the Wrestle Draft?
That was SmackDown.
I know.
Anytime, D-Star, we are always happy to answer. Thank you for hopping in. We've said it a million times. We will always say it a million times. You're taking the time for us. You're tuning in amongst the hours upon hours of wrestling content out there to come and hang out with us before Extreme Rules. So the least we can do is answer your questions in here, or if we don't get them answered in here, next Sunday, we are right back here on Love Wrestling with our latest edition of Sunday Brunch, where we tackle your questions in our Fans Dictate the Topics weekly extravaganza. Come hang out next Sunday if we don't get to what you're saying tonight. I agree, Flair versus Bianca could work because of the NXT history. I agree. Tim, I saw your comment earlier. Thanks for hopping in. It's nice to be available at a time other than your regularly scheduled B2B viewing. I think losing to Becky will be fine unless she loses in 26 seconds again as far as Bianca goes. I agree. That being said, you and I are in the same boat. Becky's walking away.
If they have a great
as
match,
SmackDown
isn't that what
Women's
we all
Champion.
want, though? Sorry to
Exactly.
talk over you. I did not mean to do that.
Never apologize for that unless you're calling me an ass.
But I mean, we are Love Wrestling, and if they just give you a great professional wrestling match,
Nobody's
gonna complain.
Nobody's complaining about Omega Danielson, and literally nobody won that
I
match.
still need to see it. Hate on me for that.
It's so good. It's so worth the rewatch. Let's move on. We'll transition because we've got another women's match we can touch on here, but we'll transition back to the male division for this one, the U.S. Championship match. We got Damian Priest, Jeff Hardy, and Sheamus. Let me tell you, if you were to look at me a year ago and say, hey, a year from now, Jeff Hardy and Sheamus are still going to be in the ring together, I would have said, fine, because I can never be mad at it.
Is that the effort you would have used?
Probably, but I'm just, I don't know. And admittedly, I have missed a couple of weeks of professional wrestling programming throughout the last 5. It just doesn't seem to me that there's any real reason for Hardy to be thrown in here. Like, he picked up a win a couple of weeks ago on like Sheamus or something like that, if I remember
beat
correctly.
Sheamus on Raw,
But it's
to get an opportunity, and because if Sheamus got an opportunity
Hey!
and you beat him, why don't you have an opportunity?
I have to pop. Tight Spot's one of the friends that I met in Vegas with JPJ after MD Karaoke. Good to see you, friend. Thank you for hopping in. It is
Tight Spot.
appreciated.
If we were to meet in Vegas, we'd have more fun. So I mean, just saying.
Prove it.
No. Ask Ron Hutchinson how I am in Vegas. I brought him beer over the border.
You've told me stories on that one. And Cody with an excellent comment in here. Jeff Hardy beat Cross. He should have an NXT title match owed to him. I completely agree. And good shout there as well, Dustin. It's almost a year to the day since Jeff was a champion in WWE. Lost the IC Championship to Sami Zayn at Clash of Champions 2020. That was one of my favorite matches last year, by the way. I absolutely loved it. That triple threat was fantastic. But
So Spencer, knock knock.
who's there?
Who are you picking for this match?
Who better?
Canyon?
I
Go check that out, by the way.
It was a tough watch, but all the right reasons. It was a tough watch. Fuck, do I love me some Chris Canyon. I don't have much on this
I'm a
one.
Mortis fan.
I don't really have much on the. I really don't have much on the build, admittedly, that I can comment on all that much. Is it going to be a great match? Yeah. You can say that about most matches on most pay-per-views at this point.
Jeff Hardy's
calling
going to get
Priest.
beat up, man.
Yeah,
Jeff Hardy's going to beat up in this match.
I'm calling Priest.
Me too, and I really think we're going to see, and I know how people are going to react to this, but I do think we might get a Damian Priest versus Karrion Kross match for that title after.
Well, and you might have just hopped in and answered Dar's question a little bit. Who can stop the path of Priest? I do think that they're going to try and build Karrion Kross to be the real.
Might be a crosswalk in his
Well,
future.
the real like the first formidable challenger. You know what I mean? Like after somebody first wins a championship, you usually throw 2 or 3 transitional challengers, I guess is the best way you can put it, and then you get to the real meat of it. And whether or not I love the way that they're going with Karrion Kross, and whether or not I'm a big fan of the direction that he's sort of taken since coming to the main roster, I think that's what he's being built for. I don't hope he wins it, for lack of a better way to put it, because let me tell you, I love me some Damian
Right
Priest.
now it stands as Priest versus Nakamura at Survivor Series. I'm very intrigued with that match.
That, my friend, is a big hell yeah
Right?
on this guy's end.
So I mean,
Big hell yeah on this
just
guy's
give me
end.
that, and we'll settle.
We
on
can
the
move on
difference.
from there. Just give
But
me
like
that.
I have Damian Priest, and I actually have him pinning Sheamus simply because I do think Sheamus will move to SmackDown. Other than winning the WWE title, there's nothing else for him on the Raw right now.
No, that's a good
And I
call.
don't think he's in the line for that. So.
No, he'd be a good guy to move over. That maybe should be our Sunday topic. We should maybe do a stream on Friday night.
We should do a draft.
We should, man. Let's think about that, man. Let's
Alex,
talk-
do you want to host again?
And Cody, great show. Can we have Priest versus Boogs? Get Boogs on my TV in any way we can.
How about Bad Bunny versus
There we
Boogs?
go. Put Boogs and Bad Bunny into the mix.
Yeah.
There we go.
I
Told
didn't
ya.
read that till now.
Not like I need to tell you, but you and I know we've got a good comment section in here.
Is that
We
they're
both-
amazing?
You betcha.
Yeah.
Killing it today.
You and I,
Are you going Priest as well?
I'm going
calling
Priest.
Priest pretty.
I mean, how-
recently.
you can never bet against a good DP.
Are we also?
Damian Priest, that is, people. Or Diamond Page. DDP Yoga is very formidable. And we appreciate you taking care of your body just like a sponsor, RK Athletics, also takes care of your body. Thank you. As Spencer's laughing because
Oh
I
my
hugged him
goodness!
so well.
A flawless execution
Yeah.
out of a terrible joke. Well done. This is what you tuned in for here on the
I'm a professional,
P.O.S
people.
Show. It is always appreciated.
And that is why they call me the champ.
God damn it, man.
What's the next smash, Spencer?
Yeah, let's just move on. We're going to go to the Raw Women's Championship match, I think is the next play we can make. Charlotte versus Alexa Bliss. I'm going Alexa.
Color me stumped on this one because it makes sense for both people to win this match.
I think that it's Alexa's time.
I agree. I just don't know why Charlotte always has to be a transitional champion now just to get to that ring. Or to get to that number. Like,
I think it's really, and this is like purely
you're
specific
not
to
doing
this.
the title justice either.
The only reason that I think they're going with Charlotte with this one is they're trying to really establish Alexa as a babyface. And it's been a confusing path there so far. Admittedly, it's been a confusing path. And going against someone like Charlotte Flair, who, whether it's for right reasons or wrong reasons, has heat with pretty well everyone in pro wrestling, whether it's because they don't like her or whether it's because they think she's great at what she does in being a bad guy. I think that she'll be able to really play that effective ass heel against an Alexa Bliss. Really be able to do it in a way that Eva Marie wasn't able to do, who is another person that has that nuclear heat in a lot of ways.
She doesn't have that wrestling. I'm gonna coin a phrase and say wrestling respect. And
She
say
can't
that
effectively beat the shit out of Alexa Bliss.
it's not even the technical ability. It's more of you did this, you left, and you didn't leave to go somewhere else to wrestle. You just left wrestling, came back, and it's
Well,
not.
we gotta
that
give her full respect with it. And to go make money.
she is a great asset to WWE. I have no issues with her. But she's not going to get looked in the same way of a Becky Lynch who traveled the globe to wrestle.
That's a fair
The
point.
Charlotte Flairs who are born to do this. The Baileys who absolutely bleed to do this. Sasha Banks. Alexa Bliss has also proved herself and proved her worth. And she might be one of the greatest. And I think she's the Sami Zayn of the female division. But she has the championships.
It's a good show.
She's just not appreciated enough, and she's amazing at what she does. So good
Does it
that
all
she
well.
carried a feud with Randy Orton heading to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. How many females can carry a feud between another superstar that everyone loves in Bray Wyatt? And I'll say it, the best wrestler in the world right now, Randy Orton.
And it's just amazing how good she is. And when you say it's her time, you're right. But I have a feeling there's bigger plans for Charlotte, and I think Alexa Bliss might be subjected to being drafted over. And
I don't know. I don't know. If Alexa loses tonight,
I
don't think that this feud's over.
No, and that was my next point, and a quicker point because I'm sorry for the length. But you did talk about my reign and how long it is, so I just figured I'd keep with that because
you know what, we know, freaking goddamn Parrish. We know you're the champion. We know you're.
You mentioned my length, and I just have to appreciate that someone noticed for me.
All pretty frustrated.
Love
by
you,
that.
love you, wife. But this
Come on.
That promo on Raw where they really sunk into each other, I want more of that.
Yeah.
That's the Raw that I wanted Monday night to have.
Yeah. I agree, man. Before I give my thoughts, a couple of comments in here, and thank you guys for keeping them coming. Continue to do so as we walk through the last two matches on here. Dar, right now, I have to admit, if there was a Twitch chat champion, you've popped me twice. You've done well today. So at the very least, I'll give you today. A lot of people hopping in there with Alexa is their opinion for the win tonight as well. Cody hopping in with a good point as well. I think they're going to race Charlotte to 17 to erase Rick's 16. And then Dustin hopping in as well. And if the Queen of the Ring tournament is going to happen at the Saudi show, I could see Charlotte dropping the title to be a front runner for that. And you and I both being the literal Queen of the Ring.
I don't. And I think it's a mistake because I think she's the end game to the Queen of the Ring. She's the final boss.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm the real Queen of the Ring or whatever that feud is from.
Oh man, Queen versus Queen. Hell yeah.
So you're calling Charlotte?
I'm calling Charlotte.
I'm calling Alexa Bliss.
Well, this is why I'm the champion. I got to make those hard decisions.
Well, and that's fair.
Like picking Edge, your favorite wrestler, to win.
Jerk.
Yeah.
Jerk.
Sorry. We could play fantasy football for you.
You mean I won our league last year, dude. Don't start on that end of things.
But you lost to me last week.
The Universal Championship match. Honestly, Cody, I'm going to answer you on this one. Was the last one the match that will determine today's winner? Probably, because Parrish, I'm just going to get right out ahead of this one. I think we see the Demons' first loss on the main roster.
I do too. And I really think this is a mistake if they do. I think the height of like Roman, this perception that Roman needs like a billion-year reign. No, he doesn't. But I think it's there, and I don't think they're going to do anything. This is where I 100% would love to see Brock Lesnar screw Roman Reigns out of not only this title, but a chance to face him for the Universal Championship at Saudi Arabia.
But like even better, what if Happy Corbin screwed the Demon as revenge for SummerSlam 2018?
What happens if John Cena screws the Fiend?
Again.
Yeah.
Let's remember he already did it.
I know. I don't like, and Finn Balor and the Demon really should. This is a position where, I mean, if you want to go back to Love Wrestling CA and the past Twitches, they talked about this on B2B. Do you really kill the Demon with the loss? Because that's kind of like the aura that the Demon has now. He's kind of the new age Mania Taker streak, right? He doesn't lose. So do you do this loss now to someone who doesn't need that I beat the Demon?
I don't know, because even there, I understand, and I'm not a fan of the revisionist history of professional wrestling as much as anybody. Don't get me wrong. But we also can't deny that it's there. The Demon has lost. Like, he lost to Samoa Joe and Lowell, right? And you know, was there maybe that bit of the big...
That was only developmental.
Don't you goddamn dare. But I do see a path out of this where the Demon loses and still continues to look good, still continues to look to be that major force. But like Alex is saying in the chat, and it's something that I agree with, they screwed the pooch when they announced Lesnar versus Reigns for Saudi Arabia. And they screwed the pooch even more when they announced that as a Universal Championship match. Because I agree, Lesnar and Reigns, that's a grudge match. That is a grudge match at its core at this point. Put Paul Heyman on a fucking forklift at this point, I don't care. But
Or forklift.
they've already, ouch, they've already announced that it's going to be a Universal Championship match. They've already given all of that. And really the only times that we've seen that change over the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years was going into Survivor Series.
They did Jinder versus
AJ
Brock.
Styles winning the championship. Well, and then AJ losing the championship to Daniel Bryan. That's all I can remember of like announced matches.
They also did
where they
Jinder versus
pulled-
Brock.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
And
is
then they gave it to
announced
AJ.
they announced Jinder versus Brock, and then AJ won
Yeah.
like 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
And then they announced Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, and Drew McIntyre wins it back. Like it seems like they do it just before Survivor Series, but they don't do it any other time, which is why I'm so.
So you're
hesitant.
taking Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let the chat do this one. Chad, do you want me to take Finn Balor? Please reply right now. And if I
Type
can
1.
if I can
for
get
yes.
3 yeses right away,
Type 2.
I will do that.
For no. Dial M for murderousness.
I mean,
It's a Troy McClure reference.
we
if
have
anybody out
never
there is a-
gave the fans this much power.
We've got Dustin with a yes.
We got
We
Usher.
got Dan. Hey, Dan's hopping in. Good to see you, friend. Thank you for being here.
All right, the
You're
chat has
going with
spoken.
a
I'm going with you.
fan.
I'm actually putting this in your hands. So don't say that I don't.
Sorry for covering your face when I did that too. I meant to do.
You know what? It's fine. I don't know, Kate. The
Neither of
photographer
us-
at my wedding did the same thing, and I can never figure it out. It just always was weird. But because the people said it, I'm gonna do this for our chat. I'm gonna take Finn Balor. I'm changing my answer to Finn Balor for the people.
And I don't think I could have put it any better than Mike the Ref puts. Shameless pandering by Chris Parrish. And of course, a big happy birthday to Mike the Ref. Good to see you, friend.
Yep.
Congrats on the rebrand. And if you guys have the opportunity, make sure you show some love to Backbreaker Media on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. And if you're looking for them on Twitter, make sure you look up Backbreaker Medi because they don't need the A. They've already got it. They're Canadian. Friends, that's it. It's only a tight 6-match card for this evening's event. Extreme Rules is kicking off in about 10 minutes on, of course, the WWE Network for everyone around the world. And for those of you on Peacock in the United States. Parrish, any final thoughts, any questions, any comments, any concerns? It's been a shorter show for you and I today, but, it's a shorter show for WWE, which makes sense. Any thoughts that you've got heading in as what could be a potential record-setting or record-breaking Love Wrestling Elite Championship reign for you?
I really just hope WWE delivers and they go out of the box to me. If we can get an Extreme Rules that we want to talk about tomorrow I think that's the most important thing. Not to mention, if I lose, it's your fault, chat. But with that being said,
be nice to the chat. They've been good to us. They've been great to us today.
it's fair, 'cause
Popped us all the time.
when Charlotte win, all right, there's 2 matches we disagreed on.
Yeah, Charlotte, and then chat picked for you in the main event.
So if I get that, then chat. I'm doing this for you. Don't forget.
You're gonna know early if you're depending on them or reliant on them.
I'm
or
really putting
not.
Faith's hands on our chat. So I'm a people's champion. Move over, Dwayne Johnson.
I was just gonna say,
I'm gonna
we should be
stampede you and become the new people's champion.
I can't believe we've got another. I think this is the 3rd show in a row we got a CFL reference in. Well played on all accounts, my friend. It's always good to sit and shoot the shit with you. It's always good to sit and shoot the shit with you about pro wrestling, and especially on the precipice of what's going to be a good event. We kicked it off on the show.
We've never
with
done
saying-
this, but good luck.
Good luck to you, friend.
Gentleman Jack agreement.
I'm excited. Like we talked about off the kickoff of this show, it's been a bit of a disappointing build in some ways towards Extreme Rules, but you're not going to find very many times. Frankly, there haven't been any times since I got into this content creation, broadcasting, whatever the hell you want to call this shit. There haven't been any times really that I've gone into an event and said, I'm not excited for this. Have I left an event and said that wasn't great? For sure. And could that be the case tonight? For sure. But I'm incredibly excited for this evening's event. Extreme Rules taking place in less than 10 minutes time, as mentioned, on the WWE Network and or Peacock, depending on where you may be in the world. Friends, thank you for joining us. It is incredibly appreciated. I said it in the middle of the show. I'll say it on every damn show I'm on. You guys took the time for us before a major WWE pay-per-view, before major professional wrestling programming, when there are so many people out there doing the same thing we are right now. So thank you guys for hopping on, spending the time with us, throwing some comments in the chat. Dar, I've got to throw some extra love your way on today, because why not? Now get the hot dogs for that handshake. There you go. You have popped me 3 times this afternoon, my friend, and thank you very much for doing so. Parrish, as always, man, where can people find you? Whether it's wrestling for Real Canadian Wrestling, whether it's being a part of Change the Game on October 15th, or anywhere in between, where can they find you, friend?
You can find me tonight at the Short Park Crusaders sponsored Average Joe's.
That you can.
And you also can find me at Chris Parrish, at Chris.Parrish on the Twitter and Instagram, at the Chris Parrish Twitch. But please, you can find me in your dreams and your heart, because I am a people's champion.
Oh, playing. You're pandering to the fans. Does that make me the heel? I thought I was the good guy in all of this. We talked about this before.
Not
January.
if I lose.
Okay, that's
Not if I lose.
That's a completely fair point, friends. Again, I can't thank you enough on my end of things. Ed, you are completely correct. It is raid time, so I'm going to be pulling up another great individual from the pro wrestling content community. I believe Fightful's doing a watch along for Extreme Rules, and they're usually kicked off at about this point. So if you've got the chance, we're going to head there. And if not, well, Ed, we're going to go ahead and see another friend of yours. We're going to go and raid Tom Colahue, another individual who's been very supportive of us here at Love Wrestling. Getting a lot of comments on you avoiding people on that Love Wrestling Elite Championship defense, but I also noticed they're
I'm putting it on the line for you people.
Well, and I've also noticed they're coming from folks like Cody, who hasn't ever asked us to hop on the show.
He asked me, but I'm not the boss. He is.
Look, I'm just trying to get the heat off your back, man.
I know, and I'm throwing it right back.
Find me on the Cool Runnings Watch Along on Wednesday. That is a hard no, to say the least. And I agree. And most people in the chat, everyone in the chat today for sure, is always welcome to hop on, whether it's in the chat, whether it's on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weekday streams that we've got going on here. I know Dar's been a part of a lot of the Jackbox nights that we've had here. It's always appreciated. I can never thank you guys enough for all the support that you guys have given us here, specifically on the P.O.S Show, but throughout the entirety of Love Wrestling's history. We've got some cool stuff coming up for you in the next little bit, and I hope you stay tuned for all of that. I have hit the start raid button. We're going to go hang out with our good friend Tom Colahue. Ed, you're bang on. If somebody is supporting us yesterday, let's support them today. You hopped in late. It doesn't matter. You hopped in, and that is what matters. It was a great show. We thoroughly enjoyed ourselves, and I hope you enjoy tonight as well. Dar, goodbye to you as well. Astrid, I'm sure I'll chat with you in the Slack channel in the next little bit. For all of us here at Love Wrestling, if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, we'll see you later. If you're watching on Twitch, we'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in to the P.O.S Show on Love Wrestling.